people, yeah, yeah. Hey everyone, John Michael Swift here, and we're just starting out my Thumping and Plucking bass series. We'll do some stuff on guitar too, but right now I just want to kind of introduce you. This is, I think, the first song that thumping and plucking or funk slap techniques were ever recorded on, and it's like a perfect song to start out with if you're just starting to learn bass. So I'm going to show you how this is kind of like guessing the way the first funk bass groove in history really works, and we'll kind of use that as a springing off point to get into other stuff. If you want to find other lessons on this subject or like navigate around this lesson for specific ideas, you can use the lesson navigator below in the description box, and yeah, I think that's ready to get right into it. So there is basically one pattern in this whole song. The bass part for this song is about as simple as it can get. But there's a couple things to consider because, funk bass is really about two main things. Having a tight groove and doing the right kind of feel for it, the right kind of articulation. So I'm going to show you those both. First thing we want to get down is our thumb stroke. We want to make sure you're all just kind of bouncing on the low E. So see if you can just kind of focus on this kind of bony edge of your thumb. Kind of right on the joint before the end of it, and just make sure you can bounce off the low E. I've got another lesson on how to get a lot of these basic bass strokes down, so check that out if you want to work on this a bit. But the main thing right now is just see if you can just get a decent bounce off the low bass strings, or if you're going through, you can like rest through into the next string. Either one will work. So make sure you got that basic bass stroke down first that you can do a decent thumb slap. Once you got that, we are just fingering one note. It's the 3rd fret of the thick E string, so it's a G. So make sure you can kind of play that note and it sounds right. And you're gonna, so see if you can kind of bounce, just kind of da da da, just like you're just literally just pulsing it like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or if you're going through the string, you can go, see I'm resting on the next string now? Pretty simple, but it doesn't quite sound right yet, does it? So make sure you can just get that kind of groovy. Once you kind of get the feel of that bounce, you can do it at some speed. The next thing we want to add in is an articulation. Everything in funk is all about the feel, the dead notes, and the rhythm and stuff like that. So what's going to happen is, after that first stroke, the left hand is going to kind of loosen up. It's going to slacken. So you're still touching the string. So you see how I kind of loosened this finger? When I loosened it, the string comes up and it mutes. And we're going to do this on the first stroke in the group of 2. So basically, you think it in 2-stroke groups. So it's like da 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 da. That first note of each of those groups, you're gonna make it short, as fast as you can. So basically, instead of going and muting it somewhere in between, you just hit it and you mute it as quick as you can. So practice doing that really tight mute first. A few more times. We're gonna get it really tight. You want just enough daylight so you can hear the note, but make it short enough that it just feels like it's got a little more grit to it. So once you got that, every other note is going to be full length. So this is just, your thumb's still going just boom, 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 just pulsing a drone. But, so if I do it really slow, I do short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long. Play along with me. Short, long, short, long, short, long. So the precision and the timing of that's really critical. If you feel like you're not getting it, make sure you go back to the phase where you really know, okay, you feel what it's like to have this release right after the attack of the thumb. Because what happens is if this lets go at the same time, you get just a dead note. You don't want a dead note. You want just a teeny bit of daylight. So make sure you got that coordination down. Once you've got that and you can do it to a tempo, then we are going to try to do it a little bit faster. We're just going to let the speed come up a little bit. So we're going to take it now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... One more time. One other thing I will say, when you're bouncing constantly, it makes the groove feel very driven, which can be good, but sometimes you want it to chill out a bit more. One other thing you can do if you want it to feel a little bit more relaxed and make it a little easier on your hand, but also kind of develop a new technique at the same time, if you're doing the stroke where you're kind of going down through the string and resting on the next, you can hook it underneath and thumb up. So instead of going down, 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 down forever, you can go down, up. So for that upstroke, you just kind of hook the end of your thumb just a little bit, not so much that it gets stuck, but that will allow you to kind of mix the up and down motions. It just makes your hand not work quite as hard once the coordination is there. So try that with me slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... One more time. So, once you've done that a couple of times, it's good to just sit down with this for like a minute or two and try to work on some part of the stuff we've talked about up to now. And when you feel like it's starting to lock a little bit better, good. Start trying to do it with a metronome, try to move it up. This is one thing I really recommend you do with a metronome, because the being tight with the rhythm is everything in funk. So I don't care how much you hate a metronome, you got to do that. You got to play with a drum machine or a record or something, because being tight with this is everything. And it's very simple, but spending a little bit of time, not a lot, maybe like a couple minutes max, but really trying to get it tight, get that articulation really short release on that. When you feel like you're really ready to kind of fire test it, you want to try to do this with some singing if you can. Even if you're just saying the words, if you don't like to sing, just being able to go different strokes for different folks. So it takes me even a second to lock in. You kind of get the groove going, and then you just say different strokes for different folks. So on and so on and Scooby-Dooby-Doo. You can be able to do all of this while you have a conversation. Just talking to someone or talking to nobody, it doesn't matter. You want to be able to maintain it. So those are some really good challenges to make sure you really got it. If you can have a metronome going and really stay with that, but keep the articulation consistent while you're talking to someone. See, even there I had a little hitch there. Here we go. Alright, I think I got it now. Takes me a second to kind of lock into it, but that's what you want to go for. So you see, you can... That's a really good way to make sure. If you can have that be totally subconscious and not break that groove whilst talking, all right, now you're ready to really do it with a band or something like that. So thanks for watching this lesson. If you want to learn more about just learning basic funk strokes, there's another lesson parallel to this in the technique series. And then you can also go on to the next song in this particular series to learn more funk-based techniques. Should be good stuff, so hope to see you around. Catch you later.